Yo, it is your boy Nice versus Wild, and you're listening to another episode of Beowulf Sessions. Thank you for tuning in. Yet another Monday, and you're staying consistent. I am so proud of you. Let's keep going. If this is your first time listening and you don't know who the heck I am, my name is Nigel Sashil. I am a full-time creative entrepreneur from South Auckland. I was born in a rural Fijian village called Lambasa, Bunileka, and my mission in life is to write a story that beats longer than my heart. All right, let's get into it. Today's Beowulf session is going to be about the sacrifice that's required to be a full-time creative entrepreneur or business owner, or any type of entrepreneur, business owner, any craft that you're in, a freelancer, whatever you want to call it. Like, if you are chasing something down that you're super important to you and that you really care about, I think you're going to find a lot of value from this. And I don't even think it's about chasing something down. It's more about, going after and using your time on Earth, on this planet, to really spend it with the things that bring joy to your life. See, that's better, Nice. That's definitely better. It's not about chasing down. It's about spending time on this earth with the things that make you genuinely happy. Boom, you nailed it. All right, so today's session is going to be to be honest, it's going to be a massive learning for me and a big reflection for me. Especially in the last 7 days, like I was saying, like most of these sessions are learnings that I've had either within the last 7 days or the last 12 months or the last 15 years. And I try to wrap all the important stuff and put it into these Beowulf sessions so you can listen to it every single Monday. And we release an episode every single Monday, like I say, and I think obviously you might get a bit of value from it, but I also get so much value from it because it helps me to improve. So today I wanted to touch on the sacrifice that's required. And the last 7 days I've been thinking about this a lot, and it gets really hard. I've got like a diary that I write like all the things that I need to do, or like all the things that gets me on the right track, or all the little tasks I need to accomplish in a day to keep this dream alive that I'm trying to do, or keep my businesses alive, like Feature Weddings, or the creative agency, or Beowulf on its own as a movement. And I think a lot of times my head's always moving and always thinking about the next thing, and it's sometimes if you're a business owner, or if you're an entrepreneur, I'm pretty sure you can relate. You're always thinking about the next step, or the next movement, or the how are you going to do this thing next, or how are you going to solve this problem, or sometimes your brain never sleeps, and sometimes I struggle to sleep because I'm always thinking in my head. And it's probably my greatest strength and my greatest weakness. And I spend a lot of time in my head. And I think if I can even improve that, I think it's going to be a big learning area and development area for me personally. But if you're an entrepreneur and you feel like that, and you can relate, that's probably one of the key, key lessons, that you need to be able to really master, because you're going to be spending a lot of time in your head, and it's a lonely fucking road. And a lot of times people don't realize how lonely it is. But it's not lonely in a negative light. It's more like lonely, like I want to be lonely so I can focus. And it's not because I don't want to spend time with people, but it's more the fact that this makes me happy, and I really, really want to focus on it and give it my all and give it all my energy as well. So yeah, I'm gonna be talking about all of this stuff today. And before I do that, I just want to fully forgot to mention this, but big love to Feature Weddings for sponsoring this episode. Feature Weddings is a photo and film company based across New Zealand, Australia, and the Pacific Islands. They celebrate love, they shoot love. Go check them out. If you know anybody that's getting married, go check out featureweddings.co.nz and featureweddings.com.au. And I think that's second week in a row I didn't fuck up my own sponsor. And you're probably thinking, isn't that your business? Yes, it is, because Feature Weddings is keeping Be a Wolf sessions alive every single Monday. So shout out to Feature Weddings, baby. Let's go. All right. So if you want to do me a favor, send people to Feature Weddings, and every Monday we'll keep releasing an episode. All right. Okay. So I'm going to be talking about the sacrifices that are required for you to become a full-time entrepreneur, part-time entrepreneur, or even pursue this path. And you need to come to terms with it, that it's going to be like this. And these sacrifices have to be made in order to bring about the change that you're either trying to bring in yourself or in your communities, in your circles, in your society, in your business, in your organizations, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Now, the last 7 days, and I was talking to my partner as well, like, sometimes, I struggle with spending time. And a lot of times, like I was saying, I spend a lot of time in my head. And I sometimes am not as present as I want to be. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs go through this because they're always in their head. And I feel like, this last 7 days, I hit like a little milestone. My creative agency hit 100K. And my partner was like, hey, this is a big win. Like, we should go celebrate it. And I didn't think about it. I was like, okay, we got to keep rolling. We got to keep moving. And it just made me realize when I was on this rooftop having a drink with her that, hey, like, we need to really celebrate these wins, no matter how big or small it is. We need to celebrate it. And I'm always like, you probably know me, like, I'm always like, okay, keep going. Let's go on to the next thing. Like, okay, what do I need to work on to get to the next level here? How do I make the businesses better? How can I make Feature Weddings better? How can I make Feature Studio better? Or how can I, create better impact with Be a Wolf and inspire more kids? And how can I create change in communities and break system issues and stuff like that? I'm always thinking. And I think sometimes as creative entrepreneurs or business owners and stuff like that, we really need to sit back and reflect and celebrate the wins. And this is something, if I'm completely honest with all my listeners, I am still working on. Hand on my heart. I feel like I haven't mastered it, to be honest. And sometimes people give me praise and things like that, and I'm like, okay, like, I don't really like, take it in. And they say how proud they are of me and stuff like that, and I don't really take it in. And you probably, like, if you've been listening to these episodes, and you wouldn't even be listening to a Be a Wolf session if you didn't relate. So I know you might feel like this in your journey, but I really encourage you to take the time out to really embrace the positive energy that others might give to you, because I know you give a lot to others. And especially if you're hitting milestones, like, in your business, like any milestone, 20K, 50K, $10, like 100 grand, 5 million, 2 million, 10 million, like whatever it is, like, just celebrate it, take some time and reflect on it, because there's going to be a lot of sacrifices on the road where you might not happen. And like, I really wanted to make a point on that, because I know I'm going to listen back to this and, like, reflect on it on myself. But if you are that person, really, really, really take the time to celebrate it. Now, being, leaving the security of your full-time gig, to be honest, I used to get paid really, really good in my job that I used to have. I used to get paid like, I think it was like 120, 130, in 12 months, in a 12-year period, and stable income coming in every week, And, sometimes, being an entrepreneur, a creative entrepreneur, like, there's going to be a compromise. You're going to lose your job security, as they say. And sometimes it's going to get difficult. It's going to get difficult, and if you're especially starting from scratch, you're going to feel like, you're not going to have job security, and you're going to have to, create little responsibilities. Now, the secret here, Nice, is making sure that you take responsibility for everything that happens. And I know I talk about this a lot, but, like, it needs to come to another level. And I think I've started to learn this, like, especially in my team, and like, you know, when I'm like trying to like, you know, grow the team. And sometimes you might grow faster than the people around you, but that's not a bad thing. It just goes to show that, hey, like, this is a chance for everybody to grow together. And I think taking responsibility for errors and things like that can really help you to realize that, you know, that everything that goes wrong in your business it's your fault. It's not your team members' fault. It's not anybody else's fault. It's all your fault. There's something that you did that could have been prevented. And if you have that mindset, I can promise you that you're going to be able to stop like rookie mistakes or small mistakes and things like that. So I don't know if that sort of dived away from that security thing, but it's just the idea of like, you know, the job security. You are the job security now, like for everybody in your team. Like if you aren't doing your best, and if you ain't your best version, trying as consistent as every single day, like it's gonna affect your team, your organization, and your business overall as well. So really think about that as a whole. Now, I'm gonna reflect on this a little bit, but like I said, like being an entrepreneur, like you're not gonna have any time at all. Not gonna have any time. Like you're not gonna have any time, any free time. Like if I'm reflecting right now, man, like the first time I went to the movies in like 4 years or 3 years was to go watch John Wick. Like no shit. And that was the first time I went to the movies in like 3-4 years. And it's just because it's not that I'm like sad that I don't get to go, but like it's the fact that, you know, that I'm very focused, and that being focused is what you need to get to this position or get to the level that you want to get to. Because like, you know, there's going to be a lot of noise, like, you know, and there's going to be a lot of distractions. And especially like, you know, the thing I really need to improve is like still not spending too much time on my phone, because I still feel like I spend too much time on my phone, and I feel like that area still needs to improve. But like in terms of like making sure that you don't like still enjoy the little things, but also like realizing that, like, you know, there's going to be a sacrifice of free time. Like you're not going to be sitting watching Netflix 24 hours a day, and like that's not how the business is going to grow. That's not how your team's going to grow. That's not how you're going to be able to, you know, create change that you want to do. And it's not going to be sustainable for the long run. So it's realizing there's going to be a sacrifice of free time, and there's going to be a sacrifice, and there's no balance. Like there's no work-life balance in this thing called being a full-time creative entrepreneur. It's literally, I work 24/7 a day, like 24/7, like literally, not even kidding. Like I'll get up, it'll be fucking nighttime, and I'll still be working. I'll wake up, get my routines, get my run in, get the miles in, get the brain moving, and just go keep going back at it. And I think it's like realizing that this shit ain't a sprint, and it's a marathon, and it 100% is. And that's why I enjoy running a lot, because it's my time to reflect and really zone in terms of like the ideas that are coming into my head, and the solutions that I'm trying to come up with in my problems. And that's why I can run for miles, because sometimes I run for miles because I don't want to go back and like I haven't figured out this problem yet, you know. And it's weird, and like that's how I stay productive. And a lot of times, if you're listening to this, like you can get lost thinking that you're spending your time like being productive, but most of the times you're not. And I feel like even for me personally, sometimes I think I'm being productive, and then that 3 hour goes, I'm like, man, I didn't really do anything. And it's just like understanding that, you know, whatever time you've got, like really make the most of it, because this window may not last forever. And make sure how big or small your window is, you make the most of that window, hands down. Okay, now sacrifices of being an entrepreneur. First, okay, I think we're on to number 3. I don't know, I'm not even counting it today, but money is a big one, right? You know, you like I said, you're not going to be able to get your safe salary. You know, there's going to be weeks where you're not going to make any money, or you are going to make money, and it's going to get spent on paying your team. or like, you know, or paying for bills and stuff like that. Like, you know, there is no, you know, if you're like starting from scratch and you're like understanding that this might be rock bottom for, but it's understanding that this is short term. How do I say it? This might be short term loss for long term gain. And be prepared to sacrifice your hard-earned earnings. Like, be prepared to sacrifice your hard-earned money in order to build the business, build the idea, build the movement that you're trying to create. Because, you know, that sacrifice of, you know, giving it your all is what's going to help you to get to the level, to get to the next position, to get to the next, get to the next level of creativity, and also next level of innovation that you want to create in your business and your organization. So the sacrifice of short-term loss, even if that means like using your own capital, if that's the right, using your own capital, which means like using your own money pretty much, and on the streets, you get what I mean. But you get it. It's literally, you know, realizing that the sacrifice is going to be there. Now, this, you know, sleep's a big one. You know, that's the next thing on my diary here that I need to improve on. Sleep's a big one. And I think I really need to improve my sleep still. I still spend like too much time working at night and not getting enough sleep. So I think that's an area that I actually need to improve on. Because I've noticed the days I've got really good sleep, that I really perform the next day. Like, I'm really refreshed and really ready to go. So really prioritize sleep. But to be honest, like, it's going to be hard, especially at the start, and you're really going to have to hit like some sort of momentum. And I remember, like, you know, I was doing my 9-to-5 job, and like fucking like sleeping maybe 4 hours a night to even get to a position where I'm speaking out of this microphone every single Monday, doing the thing that I love, and like, you know, not asking, oh, I need to go to this job also, and then do all the things I want to do after work. And it's like, I literally like fucking for like at least 6 years straight, like, if I'm completely honest, like, it was like, go do my 9-to-5 job, and then come home, work on my dreams, and then literally sleep 4 hours, and then go back to work 5-6 hours most. If I'm lucky, if I get 5.5, it's a fucking win. So it's realizing that, you know, there's going to be sacrifice of sleep, but if you can avoid it, like, I'm trying to reflect on this now. Like, I wish I slept more and better, because now I'm thinking way more of health, and that's why I'm like doing marathons, ultra marathons, because I know that like the biggest and the most important thing, like, none of the things matter. If I'm not around, none of it matters. And if you're not around and your health's not around and you don't look after your health, none of the shit will make sense. It's like all meaningless, because you are the core and the most important asset to your business, to your venture, to your art, to your creativity. Because if you're not there, mate, it's all gone. You know, like, it's literally, you're dreaming. It's like, you're in the dream. You're not even going after your dream. That's what's going to happen. If you ain't living and breathing and your health ain't great, you're not going to make any ground anyway. So prioritize sleep, prioritize your health. Being a full-time creative entrepreneur, please, because the ideas generate when you sleep, and when you wake up refreshed, you can execute. Damn, that was pretty good. I thought that was pretty good. Okay, sweet. I like that one. Okay. Don't be, when you are, you know, I've never been this person, but I feel like if you are, like, you know, don't rely on possessions to make you happy. Like, a lot of times social media, like, I've never been been this person in my whole life, like, in terms of like having the most coolest cars, or I don't give a fuck about that shit. I don't even give a fuck. I don't even wear a fucking watch. I remember, like, you know, a lot sometimes my friends are like, man, I got this Rolex watch, or I got this thing, like, and it's such a status pull. Like, you know, it might be a great conversation starter, but I actually don't give a fuck about that shit. And I feel like a lot of times, like, social media and stuff like that will like make you believe that in order for you to be a successful like entrepreneur or business owner, you need all these status pulls. Like, fuck that, bro. Like, you'll see me on my Beowulf hoodie, like, when I'm hitting the grave, when I'm fucking 60, 70. Like, you know, none of that shit. like changes. And I think it's realizing that, like, you know, all the shit that everyone else does, like all of the status pulls, like on positions, and look at my car, man, and look at my watch, man, look at my new shoes, like, you know, it's all like status pulls, and don't get involved in that shit, because it's not going to serve you for the long run. It's realizing, like I talked about in the last episode, life is about finding a gift, and the purpose of life is to give it away. Really, you're going to die one day. You're not going to take your possessions with you. So it's realizing that, you know, being a full-time creative entrepreneur, you need to be able to minimize possessions and maximize assets that are going to give you cash flow and revenue in the long run. Things like potentially, I don't know about the housing market at the moment, but like, you know, a house, or, you know, investing your money into areas like, you know, I don't know, crypto if you're into it, or, you know, stocks if you're into it, like, you know, understanding markets and how you can leverage money. How can you leverage money? How can you leverage how can you spend money to buy time? That's it. How do you spend money to buy time? How do you use money to buy time? How do you make money to create time? Now, what I mean by create time, don't get me wrong, it's like, every time I create a sale on a deal or close something, right, I tell myself in my brain is, okay, I've just given myself another 3 weeks. Okay, I've just given myself another 1 week. All right, that was a small sale. That's about one more day I've got here. Nice. Like, it's literally giving myself a mindset that, okay, if I do this today, I'm going to buy some more time. And I'm just trying to buy time. Literally, every single day, I try to buy time. And being an entrepreneur, like, on consistent basis, especially when I know that the lights may turn off at any minute, and it's being you know, being a little bit out of your comfort zone, and realizing that, shit, man, the lights might turn off, it might get real dark here, and you need to understand that you need to buy time. And it might not play out like you're thinking like it's gonna play out. And you might not get the outcomes that you might think it's going to play out, but the satisfaction of trying is far more important. That's it. So remember, fuck the positions, stop playing the status game. That's pretty much it. All right? The Lambos ain't going to make you happy, because the jet plane, the shoes, I don't know, if it is, then fuck, we're definitely not the same people, but you get what I mean. Like, don't spend energy on that shit. All right? Now, remember, like, I think I touched on a couple of things already, like next thing on my note. I think I'm dragging this on, but you get what I mean. Okay, comfort. No, really, like I talked about it already, but really have the confidence to come out of your comfort zone, especially when it comes to realizing that, hey, you know, in moments you're going to feel alone, you're going to feel like no one's around, and you're really going to get into your head, and you're going to feel like, fuck, how am I going to pull this shit off? And you're going to like keep like doubting yourself. And remember, like, there's no special people in this world. All right? There's only special people that have special self-belief levels. All right? It's all self-belief. Like, everybody, there's nobody that's extra special. That person that you think is extra special just had more self-belief than most people. So anybody that you look up to right now, to be honest, they're normal. They're humans, all right? But they just might have just had more self-belief in whatever task, business, idea they were going for than most people. Okay? Think about that. I'm gonna leave you with that. That was a light bulb moment, to be honest. If that didn't wake you up, bro, I just woke up and I was almost falling asleep on my own podcast. All right, number 7. Why am I counting this down? I wasn't even doing a countdown before. All right, sorry. You're not going to have a social life at all. No social life. Literally. Kind of goes back to the free time thing. But literally, like, man, like, I see my friends maybe, like, I've only got like 3 or 4, like, maybe 5. Now 4, like, really close mates. And I maybe see them 3 times a year. And if we're all together, like, everyone will stop working, because this is the only time that we usually get together. And my brother's getting married in September, and I think that might be a chance for all of us to sort of get together, and really looking forward to that, really. But like, other than that, let me go back, full-time creative entrepreneur shit. There's going to be sacrifice of social life, and you're going to see things, and you're going to feel like, fuck. But remember, like, what makes you happy? Think about it, because I know you won't even be listening to this if you already know. I feel like deep down you already got the burning desire that you know what to do, but the noise is going to stop you at times, and it's going to make you doubt your journey. It's going to make you doubt your capabilities, and it's going to make you doubt if you're on the right path. So if you ever forget, just keep listening to this episode, okay? Now I think I think the other part of social life is also understanding that sometimes you're going to have to cut out bad energy levels. Not saying like give up your friend that you've had for 15 years, but like, you might not want to spend enough time with them if they're on different pages in their life at the moment. Because the last thing you want is for you to fall into a space or an environment which could affect your momentum. Because like, every conversation, every interaction is always going to affect your energy levels as an entrepreneur. Even if you're like a CEO or business owner, like every interaction at a work environment, it's going to affect your levels. So it's realizing that you might not be able to socialize as much with like people that you care about, because you're just on a different journey to that person. So it's realizing that, like, I know I've talked about this a lot, but really understanding that you might need to cut people off to make sure that your creativity, your ideas, your level of energy that you're passing on to your team, that's like, helping you with your business and stuff like that you're spending the most amount of time with, and like not bringing in negative energy, if that makes sense. That was the next note I wrote down here. But like, that's like a couple of 7 things that I've been sort of reflecting over the last sort of 7 days. And I think out of all of those ones, like going back to really celebrating the wins, when it does come, because it's not going to come like every single day. And when it does come, really, really celebrate it. And there's going to be a lot of sacrifices along the road in this journey. And I think, it's realizing that, every day is not going to be great. Some days you might feel like you're running out of all your money, and other days you might be like bringing all the money in, and to even pay rent, or like the little things, like grocery and things like that. Like, sometimes it's going to be difficult. And I think as long as you just stay consistent in improvement and not focus your energy on the outcome, I think you'll get there. I really think you'll get there, to be honest. And if I'm reflecting back on my sort of path, like my constant energy of working 9 to 5 and like working on my dreams as soon as I got home, and like working on my business and working on my systems, working on my infrastructure, like working on my CRM communication, and like working on my portfolio, working on my contact list, working on my relationships. Like, all of those things are like key components, for example, to making sure you give yourself enough of a springboard when you do catch that window. Because I know you're probably like, if you're listening to this, you might be a kid from South Auckland, you might be somebody in a community that feels like, oh fuck man, I don't even deserve to be here. But listen to me, all right? You deserve to go after what you truly care and dream about. You can fucking make it happen, all right? Just stop being your worst nightmare. Stop holding yourself back. You can make it happen. I promise you, all right? It's all in you. You're capable of it, and you need to trust your instincts and your gut when you feel like giving up. And remember, don't take advice from somebody that hasn't even fucking tried, all right? Don't even take 1 second of an advice from somebody that has never ever fucking tried, all right? Don't ever do it. Trust me. I made that mistake. Don't ever do it, all right? But yeah, that's me just getting super passionate at the end here. So we're about 30 minutes in. Talked about lots of sacrifices being a full-time creative entrepreneur. definitely being honest with all my listeners, like it's been a struggle, like it's every day hasn't been great, but I'm learning a lot about myself and the things that like I need to work on, even in my relationships, as in like making sure I'm more present and stuff like that, and making sure that I don't like they say that, like, when you're shooting for the stars, make sure you don't burn everyone else around you. When you're shooting for the stars, make sure you don't burn everything around you. So if you take anything from the session, fuck the rest, just take that last line, because I promise you that is it. All right, make sure you stay focused, stay in it. This is just the start, the dream's just beginning. And remember that if you haven't tried, you haven't lived. Woo! What a session. Alrighty. Okay. Shout out to the Feature Weddings for sponsoring this episode. With 31 minutes in. Big love to everybody. Peace and love. Shout out to everybody doing reviews. If you haven't done a review yet, go do a review. If you like watching visuals, this episode is also going to be on YouTube. I'm probably not going to be looking at the camera though, because I was looking at my diary notes while I was talking today, and I really wanted to get these ideas out, and hopefully give you guys a couple of gems to really take into your journey as a creative entrepreneur, as a business owner, as an individual in your community that's about wanting to make change or be a role model. You can do it. Whatever you want to do, you can be anything you want. Just have that self-belief. All right, that's me. Another session done. Man, a couple more sessions to 1 year. Let's keep it coming. Keep being a wolf. Keep being you. Let's go.